We are back for another huge day in the markets. Earnings will be coming out soon for Apple, Amazon, Airbnb, Coinbase. How will the markets respond? What is crypto going to do? So many things to look forward to in the next 15 to 30 minutes, and we're going to be covering all of it. Before we get going, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. Nothing Kevin or I say is financial advice. We're not financial advisors. We're a few guys who love following the markets. So please do your own research before making any buys or sells. Kev, it's a big day. The markets have been just kind of trading sideways for the most part. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback as markets wrap here in the last 15 minutes. But after a brutal day like yesterday, real quick, Mr. House, appreciate you being here. Payne, appreciate you as well. Thanks for watching back yesterday. Enjoying that you guys are here with us live. It's going to be a fun one. After a brutal day like yesterday, if there was really strength in this market, we would have seen a pop back up. Not recovering everything, but it would have recovered, 50, 60%. Yeah. That is not the case today. We're just seeing a lot of weakness out there. We'll look at the charts in a bit. I'm venturing a guess that volumes are still low. There's still probably not a ton of buyers out there. And all the attention is going to be paid on these earnings. When it comes to the expectations for Apple and Amazon, can they really meet them again? Because so much is like we've seen, we're about like halfway through earnings season, maybe a little bit more. And with these big tech companies, if they're not knocking it out of the park, then it is just a bloodbath after. We saw Meta have really good earnings. They bounced, but they've pulled back as well. We saw with AMD, they missed. Huge pullback there. And it's just this contagion. And will it continue? Will it begin to bring down the rest of the NASDAQ with it? You have to think the answer is yes, because it's been pulling it up this whole time, over the last 7 months, and it's going to pull it down with it too. So some of the analyst expectations for Apple, 81.7 billion in revenue, which would be down 2.3 year over year. That was the expectation they gave. What to me is more interesting is kind of finding what the analysts here are having their attention on. And with Apple, that is going to be, current quarter guidance as far as what their sales expectations are due to back to school shopping, as well as some of the emerging markets. That's the big thing with Apple is what's happening in India, what is happening in China. Are they continuing to expand over there?
Yeah, it's I'm really excited to see what Apple has. It's really contingent again. It has to be near perfect earnings to come in, right? I mean, not even near perfect. It has to be fucking to the point perfect. Otherwise, if we see any type of, I don't know, man, fluctuation to the negative side where it could be spun, it's going to be spun that way. Again, the volumes, I'm looking at the Apple chart right now. We can see over the weekly that there is a bit of bearish divergence. I didn't notice this because obviously there's so much money that's coming into these markets. We're seeing the price push up. But I think a lot of this might be, short selling, just being caught out. And now we're starting to see it, volumes die down on the buy side and the price was pushing up. And now, we're at a point where they're absolutely completely diverged. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. And again, if Apple's going to move, it's likely to be on a day like today, right? When, all eyes are on it. And the same goes for Amazon too. So, once those numbers come out, I don't know, man, it could be pretty fun post hours for the markets.
Absolutely. On the Amazon front, they're expecting revenue of 131.5 billion. 21.8 coming from AWS. That is something that the analysts are also watching. Advertising accounting for 10.4 billion. In addition to cloud profit margins, as well as any mention of AI. Once again, if anyone says if someone's got to buoy some negative earnings, all you gotta do is drop AI in there. Just a little bit of AI is gonna fix everything. So that is what the analysts are watching in that one. When it comes to Airbnb,
that's a big one.
Revenue that's another big one. That's revenue expectation, 2.42 billion. There's a lot that is, Airbnb I think is kind of flying under the radar, being on the same day as Apple and Amazon, right? Because not only is that going to tell us their numbers, but also their future outlook. How is the housing market kind of looking? Because I've seen there's been a lot of data coming out lately around weakness in the housing market, percentage of Airbnbs that are underwater in a lot of these areas that are no longer profitable. Is that going to lead? And I'm starting to see, I'm going to be in the market for an investment property in the not too distant future. And I've been getting more and more emails about stuff coming up for sale. And some of it is things that I've looked at from an Airbnb standpoint when I've gone, up to the mountains here to go snowboarding. So the we'll see the health of the consumer, but we'll also see the health of the housing market to an extent in these Airbnb earnings.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I forgot that Airbnb was even today, but that's huge because again, we were talking about, the housing market a little bit, maybe about 2 weeks ago or something like that. And we were saying that, some of these areas are going to absolutely get tanked. And it's a lot of these, mid-range properties, right? It's 500K, less than that. Those are the ones that are, the most sought after, and the prices are starting to shoot up because there's just such low supply. Now, the question is going into tomorrow too, because we are going to get, unemployment. It's like, okay, if the unemployment starts to rise and these Airbnbs are not profitable, but at the same time, people are like, okay, I'm underwater, I'm paying, this mortgage on this property, or, it's just becoming a point where I'm not making profitable at all. Do we start listing these? And if they do list them, is that a spiral to the point where it's like, okay, now we have tons of supply in certain areas, and now nobody who is willing to buy because they can't, because we're starting to see unemployment on the rise, right? It's a really fucking bad place that we could be in. And, I think this is one that's going to be a big killer for the housing market, especially if it turns out to be that we're getting some negative earnings or, negative outlook for Airbnb going forward. So it'd be really interesting. People are going to want to, shift their portfolios, and they might do it at the worst possible time. And that could be a pretty big loss for a lot of people.
Yeah, taking that L on the house is not great. I mean, this is like Big Short 2.0, Airbnb version, but something that we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on there. Coinbase is also reporting. That to me is implications not just for Coinbase, but also crypto in general. We heard this outlandish claim from CZ that Binance has added 30 million users in the last, what period of time, Kevin?
Fucking since the last time they came out, and the last time it was like 120 million. So it would be like months, honestly. Okay. But here's the thing about that. I'm gonna get pissed off here because I'm calling fucking bullshit on Nance CZ, this motherfucker, when volumes are dead on these exchanges. You're telling me that 30 million people have came in, registered users? Lick ass. I'm sorry. This is absolutely insane that we're fucking gonna buy this bullshit from this guy. I just tweeted out that this guy's got nothing but fours up his sleeves, and he's not even wearing sleeves. You know why? Because it's true. There's nothing good about Binance right now from everything that we're seeing, and this guy is just absolutely defending himself on all sides. This is like David Koresh and the Branch Davidians. This dude is just locked in his fucking fortress, and he's just fighting the ATF and everyone, just hoping that they're somehow he survives and makes the SEC look like shit. It's like, no, dude, you did a lot of bad shit. You want fucking algorithmic stable coins. You want to do quan everybody. I'm sorry. I'm calling bullshit.
I mean,
it's the only thing that's in green today. That's how you know it's absolute fucking Ponzi. And people who are buying it, that are supporting him.
Randy, welcome just in time for a good old fashioned Kevin rant about CZ. Here we go.
Here's the best part about this shit too. These 30 million users. If you go on fucking Twitter and you check any post that CZ has, it says comments are, what do you call it, limited to people that only CZ follows and then allows, right? And then if you look at all the comments, it's like Binance to the moon. And you fucking click on the user and it says BNB, Binance affiliate, and shit like this. And it goes all the way down. No actual human is fucking posting on any of his posts. This dude has an army of bots. It's there's
cooking the books.
We're absolutely talking about like rice paper fucking defending him from absolute insolvency. And again, the DOJ was saying that they weren't going to fucking drop charges because they're afraid that it would cause a withdrawal. It's like, well, there wouldn't be a big bank run if there were fucking assets 1-to-1 in there. Everyone would just take out what they own, right? Doesn't seem that's the case because they're afraid to fucking do anything. I don't think they're afraid. I think they will actually drop charges on them because they're gonna fucking go after them for him screwing over FTX in the same exact way. He didn't really screw over FTX. FTX did it to themselves. But this saga's not over, and I'm calling bullshit on that motherfucker. I'm done ranting, but this is absolute bullshit for some of the lies that we're getting still this late in the bear market. Pissed.
Yeah, there's more capitulation to come. There's more turmoil to come. I mean, you mentioned algorithmic stable coins, and I just threw up in my mouth a little bit, thinking back to last summer and that Terra Luna collapse. My God, what a disaster! Like, we're still getting the fallout from a lot of those things. A lot of them are, I'm still getting. I used to have a BlockFi credit card where I got Bitcoin back, and I'm still getting emails about like BlockFi's bankruptcy proceedings. And I'm like, guys, can you just leave me alone? I had like $300 in Bitcoin rewards. If I get it back, awesome. If I don't, I don't care. Just like get this shit over with. Like we still don't know what's going on with DCG and Gemini Earn. It's just it's so bad, and it could get so much worse too. And there's a good probability it will get so much worse. As we look at the crypto market, it recovered a little bit this morning, but once again, when it started to get to some key levels, it just was right back down. Like there is no one's coming to save crypto prices at this point. Okay, like let's just be very honest here. No one is going to show up. There's no Batman coming to show up and save us. Just batten down the hatches. DCA when you're ready to DCA. Don't lose your mind out here. Like we're in this for the long haul, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. So closing in on the end of market. Yeah, Litecoin having. Yeah. How's that going?
Yeah, it fucking happened yesterday and no one gave a shit. Just goes to show you that when you're in a bear market and the global outlook is absolutely fucking dreadful, guess what? Nothing matters. It always works until it doesn't, and clearly it doesn't work. Litecoin actually always sells off once the halving happens. But again, people were so bullish going into this thing. Buy the rumor, sell the news. 100% what happened. And we got Bitcoin halving coming up next year. I don't fucking care, guys.
Do you know when the halving happened for like? I'm looking at the chart right now for Litecoin, and it is
August 2nd at like noon or something like that. So you should see like it went to like I think it went up a little bit. It went to like $89, maybe $90. Then right after
I'm looking at it right now. It went up to like 88.29.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and now it's back like 86.20. So
it's gonna. I mean,
it's not down too much, but
still, no one cares about this shit, and it's in a parallel channel on the weekly, and everything's in a parallel channel on the weekly, guys. This looks so fucking bad. I'm sorry. It's when it breaks, it's just gonna be absolutely bloody, and maybe Binance is the catalyst for that. Maybe I don't know. It's just this stuff's gonna break soon, and so let's say Binance does collapse. I think even then you probably haven't bottomed in this market because there's so much shit on the global scale that could absolutely tank markets even worse. People just won't have as much money as they once did. So obviously don't look at this just as a crypto perspective. Look at this as an entire financial perspective. That would be my opinion, because that would just give you more insight into how far things can go.
Yep. I'm getting ready over here, trying to pull up the investor relations for all of the companies getting ready to report.
Sweet.
So we're going to have some fun with that here in a little bit.
Let me get the Apple chart
tomorrow,
ready.
Another important day, maybe an important day with the unemployment number. Once again, it just seems like the Fed just doesn't even care. Like,
no,
the non-farm payroll is expected to come in at 200,000 jobs added. Does it really even matter anymore? I don't know. I think the most important number is probably wages year over year. I think that is going to be the number that carries doesn't carry as much attention as the unemployment rate, but it's going to carry more impact toward what the Fed does next and what how the market responds. If we get a number under expectation, right now the expectation for year over year wage growth is 4.2%. If it comes in strong, like if it comes in over that, I could definitely see the Fed, being like, all right, we got to raise rates again. If it comes in under that, that is even more ammunition for the Fed to possibly skip and maybe even be done raising rates. I'm looking at the probability right now of Fed hikes, and for September, it's at 82.5% that they skip. And for November, it is at about 69% nice probability that they skip as well. So there is, we'll see some movement based on the wage growth there.
Yeah. Honestly, this just feels like we're at a place too where 10 million jobs could be lost and the unemployment number could go down. You know what I mean? We could be at 3.1%, and then we're just lying to ourselves. I mean, look what happened last night with the credit rating. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac both got downgraded as well. Right?
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, it's wild. So, I mean, Fitch is just going on a fucking tear. Just like the Grim Reaper, that meme where the Grim Reaper just knocks on every door? He's just going after every single one. The U.S., fucking Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Last time they got into some trouble, we were in a we were in a pretty bad place. We were, 2008 or something like that. Something happened. Yeah, something happened that year. I don't know. But that's just fucking wild. And then they just keep saying that they don't understand the reasoning or the timing for any of this shit. It's like, go fuck yourself. You know why.
Yeah. We also should probably mention oil, as that has become a common talking point on this show. Oil, what I'm seeing for WTI crude is at 81.71 a barrel. So it dropped yesterday. It popped right back up today. Some of these OPEC plus cuts could definitely deepen and be extended out for longer. Like, this is the U.S., the Saudis and the countries that the U.S. has relationships with, they know that the U.S. petroleum reserves are low. And this is just a way for them to kind of like go to war without going to war with the U.S. Like, it's almost like it's a financial battle that is going on right now. 100%. And it could get very ugly. And this could be, once again, another step toward, the U.S. economy taking another big hit. Like, if we see oil prices shoot up again, I mean, inflation's going back up. Yeah. Like, whether or not you want to believe it, it's true. Like, it's going to happen. So this to me is, it's a smart move by them. Like, let's call it for what it is. Like, I don't like Saudi Arabia, but they're not dummies. All right. Like, they know what they're doing, and they're trying to manipulate things, and they're trying to weaken the U.S. And every day that goes by that the U.S. doesn't replenish their supply is another day that, they're in danger.
I look at this article right here. Saudi Arabia to extend voluntary 1 million barrel per day crude oil production cut into September. Guys, I tweeted about this last night or this morning, and last night we saw that Japan was buying more bonds. Any importer, a country that's an importer of oil, is going to get fucking hit with inflation. I'm sorry. That yen carry trade is looking like it's likely to get pretty messy going forward. And that could absolutely destroy, bonds, treasuries. Those markets will be absolutely fucked. And then maybe even equities if they did, use some of that yen to buy into some of the U.S. Market. But when we start seeing these production cuts, it's not a good thing. We're going to start seeing a lot of, obviously, inflation rising, and oil, natural gas, a lot of energy resources, even commodities, they're going to start going up. And again, it's not a bad play on their end if we're talking about just the absolute strategy of what they're doing. We're going into an election year. I don't think a lot of these countries like Joe Biden, especially since the U.S. is sending stuff to Taiwan and Ukraine, and then, Middle East, maybe they have some other, incentives. Iran, especially, we're starting to see some, pick up there too. There's just a lot of things going on right now, and oil and energy are definitely going to be taken up. I wouldn't be too surprised if we're seeing a lot more of this shit going forward and affects CPI, globally. So that's it. Did we get any of the Apple earnings yet?
Not yet. I'm thinking we're going to see a similar situation at Tuesday where it comes out 15 minutes after the hour. So If we want to look at charts for the next, 12 or so minutes as these come out, I got everything ready to go. I got the investor relations pages pulled up across all four of them. I'm ready to rock. In the meantime, let's look at some of the charts so that we can then dive headfirst into the earnings when they come out. Chris, GM, once again, appreciate everybody for being here. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. Helps us out a ton. If you want to get more people in here, share this out on social media. Also helps us out a lot. But what are you looking at? We saw the DXY move closer. I thought it was going to hit 103 today. Didn't quite get there. The VIX is starting to pull back a little bit. It had been over 17. Now it's under 16, just very slightly. So what is what's catching your eye with the charts right now, Kev?
So on the charts today, I'm looking at this on the daily. I was looking at this. I'm like, okay, maybe this is a 5-wave move up, but we've seen this little retracement here. Maybe that could be wave 1. This could be wave 3. And then we have another wave 5 to push up. But I'm also looking at this massive 3-wave move that we got here. This is 1, 2, 3, which looks corrective to me. So I would anticipate that it'd be a 5-wave move up. So I really want to keep an eye on this because I don't know how this is going to play out. I mean, this could honestly be 1, 2, wave C up here, 3, 5, A, B, C, D, E, 5-wave move up. Or this could be even bigger than that, where we could see something impulsive where it's just like this. Maybe we get a retracement here. We get a massive wave 3 up to that level, come back down.
So real Amazon reported,
okay.
And they are pumping right now in the after hours.
Let's pull it up.
They look like they beat on earnings. They are up in the after hours 5%. Right now, almost about 5.5%. So nice little run there. Let's see. Earnings per share came in 65 cents. Let's see.
See, with Amazon, it's
Net
really weird,
of
weird though.
75 billion. Operating margin 5.7%.
Okay.
Q2 sales 134 billion. So looks like Amazon is they're doing all right. I know it's been a while. They went through some turmoil for sure when Bezos stepped down. They brought this new CEO in, but seems like he has righted the ship, and they are going on a nice little run here in the after hours.
Definitely. Again, Amazon seems like one of those companies too that is going to do extremely well regardless of where they are, right? I think a lot of people are going to always use Amazon and buy a lot of the products. Some people don't even leave their house; they just order everything through Amazon. They have Amazon Fresh. They have tons of products that they provide. They seem very similar to Walmart in some ways. However, if we look at the chart of Amazon, even if the company is doing well, I do think that it's still going to see a huge pullback with everything else, just because people are going to start losing money and they're going to just, close their positions and they're just going to get out of it and, maybe hold cash or move it into a different market, right? It's very possible. So even if the numbers come back today, that's fine. Right now we're at 135. You can see we're at this blue line, which is right around the top of this move that we were calling. So maybe the top is right up here, 136. We're at 136 right now. So as it's climbing up, maybe this post market is the top of it. But again, by what we're seeing here, up 6% right now. If this that's creating just
these
another
are
massive
good.
gap.
These are really good earnings. These are like I'm reading through more of it now, and this is pretty damn good.
Yeah. So I mean,
They
that's probably that's what
increase
you need
across the
though.
board. Yeah, AWS numbers beat expectation as well. Operating income up considerably in North America and international. This is Amazon is doing pretty good. This is painting a rosier picture than I think a lot of people were expecting. So
Nice.
now we got to wait on Apple, on Coinbase, on Airbnb. But overall, I'd say if you're an Amazon holder, you're feeling pretty good at the moment.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, Amazon also has a lot of stuff like their cloud services and stuff like that. That's going to be really important too. So, I mean, Amazon is a company that's also been through the dot-com bubble too. So I think that they're just really, they've established themselves. They know how to operate and they just are going to be profitable. Seeing that if they're profitable year over year is going to be important too. Obviously, looking at this chart, we're way above where we were. We were closer to the 50 moving average on the daily. Now we're up at this top where this B is. So that's really interesting to see. We'll keep an eye on that moving forward. But again, I think that if you're going to have earnings as good as that, it makes sense why you're going to be pushing up. Now, if it was a miss on any of those things, we might be seeing an absolutely different situation. So Amazon, if that's it for that, I anticipate maybe if we do push up a little bit further, we can go up to 146. But for the most part, this is a pretty good move up here. Let's just wait till tomorrow to see how the market's open, because we could see this sell off maybe a little bit if everything else looks bad. But right now, good earnings. Wait for Apple to come out later. Let's go back to the DXY. DXY, again, I was talking about these two possible moves.
One final thing on Amazon, it is,
yeah,
we still, they're still not profitable on the streaming side. We'll see if that changes. They're also getting into gaming and trying to take a piece of that pie right there. So, I mean, I'm expecting Amazon to have a strong day tomorrow. Like, even if the rest of the market goes, like, will it be better for them if the rest of the market is good tomorrow? Absolutely. But I still think that they're going to have a good day tomorrow. We've seen it before with, it just happened the other day where we saw some strong earnings for a few companies. Everything else was down, but they still picked up some steam. So, good overall there, but let's get into go back to the DXY, and then I'll keep updating for some of these other earnings.
Yeah, definitely. So we're talking about this three-way move here, this ABC correction down. We broke from this parallel channel, came all the way down to this low level, and now we've been pushing up pretty well. And even though we've had a little bit of retracements here on the daily's pretty much just pushed up, and it seems pretty linearly, right? Like it's progressed with no resistance really. We're finding a little bit of we're down 0.1% today. It's not really that bad. We do need to correct at some point. This does need to come down, but at the same time, we can't stay overbought on the daily for some time. From May 15th all the way till about May 31st, so about 16 days or so, the dollar stayed overbought. Right now, if we go to where we were overbought here, 28th of July to I don't know, fucking 15th of August, we could see it stay overbought. We do need a correction. I do think at some point, though, maybe it comes down to this blue line. If we lose this blue line, maybe it's the midline of this parallel channel. I do think that this blue line is going to be retested for support just to prove that, okay, this resistance has now become support. That means that we're going to be continuing to the upside. That would be ideal. But the dollar still looks extremely strong to me. Obviously, if we look at it on the weekly, there's plenty of room to the upside. And even if we do start pushing up here, I still think that we have a couple more weeks before we would even need to retrace. So keep an eye on that. And hopefully if we do retrace or past some of these major resistances down here, above this parallel channel and above 105.651, reclaiming 103 is going to be really big. If we do that, then I think we're going to be testing that 105 level. So that's what I see with the dollar. Let's do some crypto. So obviously we were talking about Bitcoin dominance being, really important for crypto, right? That even if crypto does go down, Bitcoin dominance could go up because people are just, staying strong with Bitcoin. I think a lot of people hodl Bitcoin probably the most as opposed to altcoins. It's just their long-term reserve. So that's why we could see people maybe moving a little bit of funds over into that. We could also just see people not selling Bitcoin as much as some of these other altcoins. Bitcoin dominance, it broke out of this parallel channel. Look at that. That's pretty impressive, right? We were talking about, obviously it needs to start going up. I think we need to stay overbought for a period of time just to prove that we're out of this channel. But, everyone was saying that Bitcoin dominance is done. We're going to see an altcoin run. The charts today look the exact opposite of that narrative. So keep an eye on Bitcoin dominance. This is going to be important going forward. If we can reclaim this 52% level, which is up here, guys, we're going all the way to 57. I'm not making up the rules. I'm just looking for the next, level of resistance that we have. And if I pulled it up here, we can see that we found a little bit of resistance and support. It was once support. Now this would be, resistance for us going forward on the macro. I think that we are going to be continuing. Again, that's in line with a lot of things being looking pretty bad on the charts and bad on the macro for a lot of altcoins and stuff like that. So we're going to keep an eye on Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin itself, it's at 29,309. So, is it still in the parallel, not in the parallel channel? Is it still in the supply zone? It is. So, you're at the bottom of the supply zone. So people are still probably just offloading Bitcoin slowly. We can see that a lot of people are moving stuff to Coinbase. We're seeing people move Ethereum to Coinbase, all these huge wallet transactions. But
my God. All right. Let me show you this real quick.
Yeah. Pull it up.
Sorry. I almost threw this. The Airbnb. So Airbnb, I haven't looked at the numbers yet. They just put out their shareholder letter, and this is the front page of it.
Oh, fuck off.
A Barbie themed front page to their shareholder letter. Let me read through this real quick. I just thought it was really funny, and I had to share that with you, Kev.
That's hilarious. I can't wait for the market. Once they are at the absolute bottom, they can do the Oppenheimer house out in the middle of the desert where they did the explosion. That'll be a full circle when it comes to those investor reports. Let's go to BTC back again, just because I want to show that we are still in the supply zone. What does that say? I don't know. That pretty much tells me that volumes are low. No one's really buying this shit. They're just swapping out of these prices so that they don't really move the market too much. They get the most for their value. Because, if you do one large sell order at $57 million, obviously you're not going to get Bitcoin at 29,319 or 320 where it is right now. You'd probably get some at 29,300 and you would probably get some more at like 28,400. The price would just be so volatile that you definitely wouldn't make as much evenly. So people are swapping, which is time weighted adjusted pricing out of the market. And that's what I think we're seeing here. But if we look over to down here, we have this massive gap, this yellow box. I'm going to change this color. We're going to make this in here red. And this is where I think that we could be going next. We can see that on the daily, the 200 moving average is right there. We're kind of just like finding resistance on the 50 moving average right now. It's very possible that we could see, a drop towards, that 26.9, 27K, where we fill this gap and then maybe we bounce up a little bit and then we continue on. It really depends. I think that it's going to be really important to see how this works out. We remain in a parallel channel that's rising, right? This is one that we're seeing from all the way from December to where we currently are. This bottom trend line right here, I'm going to make this bigger. This is the one, if we lose that, that means that it's not game over, but it definitely means kind of game over. I'm just not going to say that because I don't want to spook the markets like the DOJ doesn't want to spook anyone into mass withdrawal from Binance itself. But yeah, this parallel channel right here, if we break from that, we're going likely down to the 20K level because that's going to be our major level of support. And if we lose the 20K level, guys, 14K is likely your target. Again, that's thinking ahead, but I do think that the markets are going to move fast, and I think Bitcoin dominance is going to absolutely, drain all the liquidity from alts. I mean, I can pull up the alt chart right now. This is total 3, and we're not including Ethereum or Bitcoin. Again, Ethereum's doing its own thing. I think that we're going to start seeing that absolutely drain too. But for the most part, right now, we're looking at total 3 because this is a really important chart. This is on the daily. 200s right here, the 50s right here. We're just clinging on to that 50 moving average. You're outside of this parallel channel that's going up. If we look on the weekly, you got plenty of room to the downside here, and you're already breaking from it. And you got the 50 to 200 that are right here. The death cross is coming. We're going to the origin. I think we're going to be at 300 billion at least. I mean, we could go lower than that. It's very likely. I think that we definitely will hit 300 billion though. And we got tons of room to the downside, and we can see that the volumes are dropping off as the price was going up. That's bearish divergence, right? What brings us here? Any catalyst could absolutely happen, right? I'm not going to keep saying Binance going under, but that would be the easy answer for why this absolutely drops. I know Gary Gensler doubles down on everything being security. We'll see. There's a billion things that could bring this market down. It could just also be that liquidity, right? They just absolutely sell everything, and markets are forced into a panic sell mode. We're kind of in that same spot here. If we look on the weekly for the total market cap, right? This is total 1, or just total. This is head and shoulders pattern that we're watching. We can see the 50 and the 200 right here are so close to each other, and we're barely finding support on this 50 moving average. We can see that the stochastic RSI is kind of turning here, so I could definitely see us going to test the bottom of this parallel channel that it's in, which would put us somewhere around 1.089 trillion. And if we've been looking at this, like, we're extremely low compared to where we were, back in, what is this, July 10th? July 10th, we were at 1.24 trillion. We're at 1.13 trillion. So we're down a significant amount already. So if we start losing some of these levels, I mean, we're tanking, guys. This is likely going to be sub-trillion-dollar entire crypto market cap, and we'd have to find, support it somewhere. Maybe it's the bottom here at 732 where we start finding some support again. Maybe it's here at 766, or maybe it's even further sinister than we'd imagine, and we go down to test some of these support levels that are on this side. I'm not going to give you estimates right now because estimates mean nothing. We need to see how things play out, but I definitely think that we are on the cusp of an absolute huge move for the markets. The structures are there, everything's lining up, and there's tons of news that's coming out that's should be putting fear in the people, but I don't know if the markets are reacting enough to the point where these people are believing any of the things that they're being warned of. So just keep an eye on that. Crypto itself, I mean, look, Matic and XRP are also down today, right? 67 cents for Matic. XRP currently is at 67 cents. XRP is almost in that zone. I mean, it really is. We wicked into that zone a little bit right here. We hit 65 cents and it went back up, but I can see a scenario where on the weekly we're overbought. Volumes are coming down. I can see this to the point where we actually come into this parallel channel, and this could be a big red candle that we just see, and it just helps fill this green candle that shot up fast. I think that that's very possible if the entire crypto market does decide to tank a little bit. So keep an eye on that. I think that we're seeing everything kind of bleed out slowly right now, but I think there is going to be a move where it's just absolutely violent, and anyone who's trying to buy that dip might get hurt on that one. I think it's very similar to maybe a Terra Luna situation, right? Not that I'm saying that it's going to happen, but trying to buy that, buying Terra Luna was one of the hardest things to do within those 3 or 4 days that followed, because everything just kept tipping afterwards. So just be safe, and that's what I'm seeing with a lot of the altcoins. So yeah, anything on Apple?
All right, let's get into we have some more earnings. Apple, I'm still not seeing yet. They may not be coming out for a little bit. Airbnb, yeah, Airbnb is down at the moment. I'm looking at their earnings now after that stupid Ken Barbie shit. So they're down. Overall, it looks like they had a solid quarter from a revenue standpoint. A few things I'm looking at, we discussed how this was going to give us some clues into the housing market. So 2 things I'm seeing here in this letter that are backing up my belief that this is giving us clues on the housing market. Number 1, they're talking about how supply growth has continued to increase. So more and more people are putting their homes on Airbnb. So that's good for them because they have more they can rent out. However, if there's even greater competition in areas for rentals, but people are going to be traveling less often, more of these rentals are going to have vacancies, and they're not going to be bringing in as much revenue, and that is going to be bad for them. They also introduced in May Airbnb rooms. So instead of renting an entire place, people can rent just a room with an average price of $67 a night. So that once again speaks to not needing to rent a whole house, people making less money off of these things, greater risk of, default. So those are, to me, the stock's down just a little bit. It's like 1.25%, 1.5%, almost 2%. But those two things right there, the increased supply growth and the introduction of Airbnb rooms, would give me pause when it comes to the real estate market. So I think this still kind of goes along the line of our thesis that we're going to see more of these houses come onto the market as time goes on. Coinbase is up. I still can't. I'm on their investor relations page, and it's still not showing me the second quarter shareholder letter. It says that it's been released. Yeah, they're up. They're having a nice little run here in the after hours.
Right here, crypto
is up a bit.
Crypto exchange Coinbase revenue falls as trading volumes remain muted. Coinbase Global reported a drop in second quarter revenue on Thursday as trading volumes at the crypto exchange remain muted amid volatility triggered by an industry-wide global regulatory crackdown. The company reported revenue of $663 million for the 3 months ended June 30th, compared with $803 million a year earlier. So down.
So what else did they say that is causing the stock to go up over 5% in the post market? That is what I would love to know.
They listened to our show and everyone just decided to go long because it was a squeeze.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that can make sense. But no, this is wild. That's fucking proof that the volumes are down, right?
We knew the volumes were down.
Exactly, but that's just admission and proof that volumes are down. I would, if I was CZ, I don't know, man. That just proves that he's lying hard as fuck through his 4 teeth. That he had 30 million people. That's just a fake number too. I'm surprised it wasn't 40 million people. But yeah, it's absolutely insane. Volumes are down. The only thing that gave me hesitation was that Ripple number. I didn't know if that was no, that wouldn't have been. That would have been. I'm wrong. That was July. So that'll be the next next Q3 report. So that don't even worry about that. I lied there. So yeah, this is interesting. We're up 6.12% right now, $96 34 cents, 96.50 now. So it's definitely pumping here. Maybe we are just being, degenerates. I don't know what to say about that. That's kind of weird. Let's see if there's anything we can find on Coinbase added to why they're shooting up now.
Let's see. Yeah, it looks like Apple, they're doing their call at 2 Eastern, so in about 37 minutes. So I'd venture a guess that they're not going to be releasing it too far in advance of that. So we may be off the air. We'll probably be off the air when they release their earnings, unfortunately. But yeah, Amazon still looking good. Coinbase, for whatever reason, it's looking good right there. Could be a strong Friday in the markets. Maybe this, maybe this sell-off that we saw. Amazon's up almost $10 a share in the after hours at this point. They're gonna potentially open at a new all-time high tomorrow.
Mr. House, thank you for sending that over. Let me pull it up in 1 second. It's the Coinbase earnings. Love this guy. Pull this up. Investor relations. Company highlights: $92 billion quarterly volume traded, $128 billion on assets platform, 100 plus countries, 3,400 employees. Let's see. Event details. That's not what I needed.
Shareholder letter. I see it now.
You see it? Do you want to pull it up?
Yeah.
All right.
I can.
I'll stop sharing my screen.
Right now, there's not. We're not going to be able to see it. There's really no point in me pulling it up.
Oh, okay.
Revenue. See net loss of $97 million. So they came in above kind of their outlook for the quarter. As far as subscription and services revenue, transaction expenses. They came in under as far as development costs, and they came in right around sales and marketing expenses. So, with what their guidance had been, I guess they beat that, which is why the stock price is up, but it doesn't paint a great picture
I'm gonna tell you guys something.
for the crypto market in the coming months.
Shove the expectations right up your fucking ass sideways. This is another instance of, okay, the outlook is terrible. They're down year over year. They're less profitable than they were a year ago at this time. But let's fucking buy the shit out of this because they beat expectations.
Yep.
I expect to wake up tomorrow. And if I do, I expect to be bullish as fuck. It's like that's the type of mentality that we have right now. It's like anything that we know is going to happen, it's like, fuck, I don't even know what to say. It's like saying the MLB will play a baseball game this year. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of, if they beat expectations, they play more than one game, then guess what? So dumb.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay. It's
so
hey, it's the state of the market. It's the game that we're playing right now.
Yeah,
right?
can't disrespect the game. It's fucking I just hope that it's even more relentless on the way down.
Yeah, if we look at the technicals, I mean, Coinbase is oversold on the daily as well. Like maybe it has a nice little pop tomorrow. I think the Apple is up in the after hours, about $2.50 a share because people are seeing, as far as I can tell, there's no, like, the earnings still aren't out yet, and people are just seeing how well Coinbase and Amazon are doing. And I think they're just assuming that Apple is going to do well also. And that could be what is driving this, which if they do report well, then, look out. Yeah, Amazon's going to have a good day tomorrow.
Amazon, I'm not too worried about that. That's a really good earnings report. And, again, I wasn't out of all the stocks in the 7 of the apocalypse, that's probably the one I'm least concerned with. I fucking use Amazon. I bought fucking deodorant and like a book this morning on Amazon. So clearly they're doing fine. I'm helping them out. But I'm not buying a fucking Tesla. I'm not buying any Apple products. I'm not doing any of that shit. So for the rest of y'all, good luck.
All right. Anything else? I think we're going to have to wrap it up. I don't think we're going to be able to stay on until the Apple earnings come out. Maybe, Kevin, if you want to tweet something out about that one when it does happen, and we can also discuss it tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
I think tomorrow is going to be a good one as well with the jobs number and wage numbers in the morning.
Yeah, definitely. I got nothing else to add. Obviously, just protect yourself. Obviously, anything in this market is possible. Even if something looks good right now, 5 minutes from now, news could break and everyone is just absolutely fucked. Again, maybe Fitch downgrades some more people tonight. Maybe they downgrade Moody's because they didn't downgrade the U.S. Who knows? But anyways, that's all I got. We'll tweet some out about Apple when we get the earnings, and then we'll see if how tomorrow's market's open. Obviously, it's gonna be a fun post market right now.
In the words of Wu-Tang Financial, diversify your bonds. All right, that is going to do it for today's show. We appreciate everybody for watching. Mr. House, Payne, Randy, Chris, whoever else is out there, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
If you can do us a favor, hit those buttons below if you haven't yet. Drop a like, a comment, subscribe, share us out on social. Payne, appreciate the kind words yesterday. Same for you, Chris, everybody else. You guys are awesome. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time, I believe. 3 Eastern. We'll cover all the data that comes out in the morning. We'll react to how the market is responding to the earnings that we see today. It should be a fun one. I mean, maybe that sell-off from the Fitch ratings, drop was just a blip, and we're back to up-only season.
That ain't vibe session season. I'm sorry, buddy. That's a no-go from me. But yeah, best of luck out there, guys. Be careful, and obviously just protect your shorts.
Kevin doing his Randy Jackson. It's a nod for me, dog. All right, we'll be back tomorrow, everybody. Appreciate you guys watching. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.